hold on a second, and I will also start by muting everyone. So do unmute yourselves if you need to ask a question. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And the topic this evening is all about signaling. And it's a very important topic that I see a lot of people failing to signal encouragement or discouragement, or their partners failing to look at it. And I think an awful lot of tricks are lost that way. For those of you who are watching this recording on YouTube, if any of you wish to join in the sessions, and you can vote in the polls, you can send me an email. There's a link to it in the description below this video, and I'll add you into the list and let you know what topics I'll be covering when. So we're going to start with an example of signaling, or let's look at a situation where South has opened 1 no trump, that's 12-14, North raises to 3 no trump, and your partner leads the 5 of spades. Down comes dummy, and if declarer plays the 2 or the 7 from dummy, then you're going to play third hand high. This is not a time for signaling, it's a time to play third hand high, and you'll win the trick with the king, of course. And if I just bring up the 4 hands, what you'll do after that is, unless you have something much better to do, which you don't have here, you will return your partner suit. And with 2 cards, it's normal to play high from 2 remaining cards. And if the 9 is played, your partner can play the 10, which will force out the ace. And I hope you can see that at some point from here, declarer is going to play the diamonds. Your partner will get in and will be able to take the ace of diamonds and take 2 spades. So you can't defeat this contract, but you can make sure you get all the spades by playing third hand high and continuing with that suit if it wins a trick. On the other hand, this is exactly the same hand, but suppose North plays the ace of spades, declarer plays the ace of spades from dummy. Just 1 second, I just need to do one thing here. Yeah, okay, I just wanted to check everything was running. So here, the ace is played, so of course you're not going to waste your king, but you've got a choice between playing the 8 and the 3. And because you have an honor, the king, you want to signal encouragement. So you would give a signal of the 8 here to encourage your partner. Your partner will hopefully notice that, realize the 8 looks like a high card. And now when declarer plays the diamonds and your partner gets in with the ace, they should remember that you had previously signaled encouragement in spades. So they would lead a spade back to your king, and then you would lead a spade back. And again, your partner will be able to take the remaining spade tricks. Again, they won't be able to defeat the contract, but at least you'll make 4 tricks your way. Do stop me if you have any questions on that. Let's try this one here. And this time we're playing in a suit contract. South opened a heart, North jumped to 4 hearts, and your partner is on lead, and they've led the ace of clubs, and declarer plays low from dummy, and I've got the first poll of the evening, which is, which club are you going to play? The jack, the 10, or the 5? So here comes that first poll. And 5 of clubs got 41%, with the rest of you playing the jack or the 10 of clubs. Well, when your partner leads the ace of clubs against the suit contract, you should assume they have the ace and the king, but they may not have the queen. So you should not be signaling encouragement in this situation with the jack 10 5, even though those are quite good cards. What you don't have is you don't have the queen. And the other time you would signal encouragement is if you had a doubleton, like the 10 and the 5, you'd play the 10. But here, because your highest card is the jack, you should not encourage. So again, you should only really be encouraging if you have doubleton, if you have the queen or the king, perhaps, if your partner has led the ace, which is not often a good choice to lead an unsupported ace, but if they did and you had the king, you would encourage. So what you play on this hand, if you bring up the four hands, is you should play low. And when your partner discourages with a 5, it's very important for West not to play another club. In fact, if I click on the GIB button, you can see that any other card that West plays can defeat the contract. But if you lead the king of clubs or a low club, declarer can make 4 hearts. Because what will happen is you'll set up the queen of clubs and declarer will be able to make a trick with that. So what you should do is switch to another suit. You might switch to a trump, is probably safe, or perhaps a spade. And if you do play a spade, it gives your partner a chance to win that trick with the king. And although we said earlier it was a bad idea for West to lead clubs, it's a very good idea for East to lead clubs, because they will be trapping any honors that are in the south hand. So they can play a club back, and another club will allow the defense to take the first 4 tricks there. You won't make any more, but declarer will be defeated if you find that defense. In order to encourage, you would either have the queen as here or a doubleton. So here, if your partner leads the ace, you should encourage with a 6. I know it doesn't look that high, but it is more encouraging than the 5. And then if your partner carries on with the king, you now play the 5, so they know you're encouraging, and now you're able to make the 3rd trick with your queen. At this point, you are likely to be able to defeat the contract as long as you don't lead a spade. You should not lead a spade here, because of course you're leading into the ace queen. But if you play a diamond or a trump, declarer can win that one, but at some point is going to lose to the king of spades. So you should defeat that contract if you defend correctly. Do interrupt me if you've got any questions about this. And I've got another one here, again playing in a 4-heart contract. It went 1 heart, 3 hearts, 4 hearts. You're West here, and you led the ace of clubs. The 7 is played from dummy. Your partner plays the 4, and declarer plays the 5. And I've got the second poll for you. And the question is, do you think that 4 of clubs is encouraging or discouraging, or can't you tell? So have a little think about it. Look at all the clubs you can account for and see if you can answer the question, do you think that 4 of clubs is encouraging, discouraging, or can't you tell? Let's have a look at the answers. And we've got a wide variety, a tie between probably high and can't tell, with others going for low, high, low, high, or probably low. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, the 4 of clubs is a lowish card, isn't it? But in this situation, what you need to do is try to work out whether there are any cards lower than the 4 of clubs that are unaccounted for. So you're West here, and you can see the 4 of clubs has been played. And the question is, are there any clubs lower than the 4 that are unaccounted for? And there is one in this case, and it is the 3. Someone has got the 3 of clubs and did not play it. So either East had the 3 of clubs and was signaling high-low with the 4 and the 3, or South had the 3 of clubs and played the 5 instead. Now, if South did that, they are false carding. They are deliberately playing the 5 when they could have played the 3 to try to confuse the opponents. And although there are some declarers who will do this, I will assure you that the vast majority of declarers do not false card. Rarely they think about false carding. Perhaps after this lesson, if you're playing, you may think more of false carding because it can confuse the opponents. But unless South is false carding, East has the 3, and East is giving you an encouraging signal. And if you treat it as an encouraging signal, let's bring up the 4 hands. You will carry on with the club. Your partner now plays a 3, so you know they were encouraging. And now another club will get roughed by your partner, and it stops the queen from making a trick. Now, whatever happens, if the opponents switch to a diamond, declarer might draw the remaining trumps. And at some point might try the spade finesse. That loses, and so you will defeat the contract, making 4 tricks again. So if we rewind the hand, it was your partner wanted to encourage because they had the 4-3 of clubs. When you led the ace, they assume you've got the ace and the king, but not necessarily the queen. So they encourage, and they're able to rough the 3rd round, and you defeat the contract with your king of spades. So when your partner plays a card, it's no use saying, oh, that 4 must be low. You really need to try to look at all the cards and try and work out whether it is likely to be high or whether it's low, or whether you really can't tell. There are hands where you really can't tell, but this is not one of them. Let's try another one, a similar one. This time, South opened a heart, North bid a spade, South rebid 2 diamonds, and North jumped to 4 hearts. And this was actually a hand that was played recently. I've just modified it slightly to make it a clearer example. And let's suppose you decide to lead the ace of clubs. Down comes dummy. Your partner plays the 8, and declarer plays the 6. And I'd like you to spend a minute or so trying to work out whether that 8 of clubs is high or low. Do you think your partner is encouraging with the 8 of clubs, or do you think it's a low club? Have a little think about it. I'm going to give you a minute or so to try and work that out. Let's have a look at what we've got. And 68% said low, 23 probably low, and others said high or probably high. And well done those of you who said it is low. Although the 8 looks like a highish card, if you look carefully at the cards that have been played at trick 1, you can account for the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 7. So the 8 of clubs is your partner's lowest club. And the only other possibility is that it is a singleton, although that would leave South with a lot of clubs, and South has sort of bid 2 suits, so they probably don't have length in clubs. So yes, the 8 is almost certainly your partner's lowest club, and that means that you should not really be continuing with clubs, and the layout could easily be something like this. Let's bring up the 4 hands, and you can see your partner had the Jack 10 9 8. They played the 8, which is their lowest club, and if you are paying attention, you will realize you should not carry on with another club. I hope you can see that if you carried on with another club, the king say, then declarer will be able to rough that, and it sets up the queen of clubs. So you should switch to another suit, and you might decide to switch to a trump. Okay, declarer can win that and might draw trumps, and then maybe so here declarer is actually trying to set up a spade trick, which could be a winning strategy, could make a trick here. But whatever happens here, even though he set up the 8 of spades as a trick, he won't be able to discard enough to avoid 2 diamond losers. So if he plays the diamonds himself, he plays the ace, and then you'll be able to make the jack and the king and defeat the contract and hold declare to 9 tricks. I hope you can see that if you were to make the mistake of carrying on with the king in this situation, that sets up the queen, and now declare will, after drawing trumps, be able to play the queen of clubs and discard a spade loser, and would make 1 more trick there. So it's not always obvious, and sometimes you need to think a bit at trick 1, try to work out whether that signaled by your partner is encouraging, probably encouraging, or if you really can't tell. But in this situation, it should definitely be your partner's lowest club. And let's have a look at this hand to end with. Here, South has opened a diamond. You overcall 2 clubs. North bid 2 diamonds, and it goes pass. You might be thinking about bidding again here. You'd like to bid something, but let's suppose they end up playing this in 2 diamonds. And we are going to start off, I think, leading our clubs. We've got a nice sequence in clubs. So we played the ace of clubs. Your partner plays the 8. Okay. And that looks like it was an encouraging signal. If we look at the missing clubs, we can see there are certainly some lower clubs than the 8 that are unaccounted for, like the 3 and the 6, for example. So your partner was probably encouraging. We carry on with another club, the king. This time your partner plays a 3. So we know they were definitely encouraging. So that's 2 rounds of clubs gone. And I've got another poll for you now, which is, what do you think you should play now? What do you think Wes should play at trick 3? You've just won the ace and king of clubs. And what do you think you should play now? Let's have a look at the results. And the majority played a low club, with 41 playing a club and 1 person playing a heart. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, your partner was definitely encouraging. And with you having the ace, king, queen of clubs, the only time they would be encouraging is if they started with a doubleton. They don't know you have the queen, so they are signaling on the basis of a doubleton, assuming you've got the ace and the king. So if you do a quick count, that's 2 rounds of clubs have gone 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 1 club out, and South has it. So you can win the 3rd trick with the queen of clubs. Although you could play a low club and your partner will be able to ruff it, you don't really need them to ruff it, because you can play the queen of clubs and just win a 3rd trick. If you played a low club, that would be saying to your partner, I want you to ruff this, but you don't particularly want them to ruff it because you can win it with your queen of clubs. So that's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play the queen of clubs. The jack of spades is played. Your partner plays the the queen of clubs, jack of clubs. Your partner plays the 8 of spades. And as expected, declarer follows with the 10 of clubs. So you've won the first 3 tricks now. And the question for you now is, what are you going to play now? You've won the 3rd trick. And what are you going to play at trick 4? Have a look at the results. And 38% have gone for the 2 of spades, with 27% going for the heart, the diamond, or the 7 of clubs. Well, if we look at what's just happened, we led the queen of clubs, and it was an opportunity for my partner to discard. And they have discarded the 8 of spades. That looks like a highish spade, and they are discarding to tell you that they have some strength in that suit. So you wouldn't normally lead this a spade now, but I think after your partner has emphatically given an encouraging signal by playing the 8 of spades, you should seriously think about leading a spade. It's very likely that your partner's got the ace there because you've got the king and you can see the queen, jack, 10 in dummy. So a good card to play now is the 2 of spades. You lead low from 3 to an honor. Leading a low card normally indicates you have some strength in that suit. And if we bring up the 4 hands, you'll see that indeed, when you play the spade, your partner can win the ace and should lead a spade back. You can win that one with your king, and then another spade will give a chance for your partner to ruff. And played that way, you can make the first 6 tricks. So declare will make all the rest now, but you've already defeated the contract by making the first 6 tricks. So this, if I rewind the hand, this one shows an example of carrying on with the queen of clubs here, because you don't necessarily need your partner to ruff, but it gives your partner a chance to discard. And if they discard a highish card, that should indicate they have some strength in that suit. If they couldn't, if they have nothing to encourage you with, then they'll just discard something that is, they think, safe to discard. But if they play a highish card, it should be indicating that they have some strength in the suit. And you can actually defeat 2 diamonds if you cooperate with your partner.
Yeah, Tony, can I ask a question there, please?
Yes, yes.
Just thinking, if you're playing suit preference signals, would you necessarily discard the suit that you want?
Okay, so suit preference signals when you're discarding, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Well, obviously it depends exactly what system you're playing. I mean, I don't know, Dodds is quite a popular one, right?
Yeah.
In which case you play an even card to encourage the suit, don't you?
I don't play Dodds, I play McKenny.
McKenny, yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, so in that case, what you would want to do is try and find a discard that would encourage a spade. Okay, so that might be a high heart, I think.
Yeah, the 8 of hearts.
Yeah, the 8 of hearts. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So so that's what you would do if you're playing McKenny, and if you're playing Dodds, you do something
yeah, okay,
different. Yeah. So yes, so by all means, yeah, you can play these other discard systems. Many people do. And they all have some advantages and disadvantages, but the idea is to discard a spade. On this particular hand, it doesn't work out quite so well because you don't get the ruff unless you discard a spade. So there are advantages and disadvantages in all systems, but this one happens to work out well if you discard a spade. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?